I want to lead into this future question by asking Theo. I need to ask you because he's your baller. Mohamed Salah, with his current form at the moment, do you see his future being at Liverpool?
So I'm gonna stick to your question, Noah, and I'm gonna respect only his current form, right? I'm not gonna look to the past. I'm not gonna look to the guy's history because he is a legend. But according to his current performances, no, I do not want him at Liverpool, at least not as a starting player, and that's for sure. I mean, I would say that Salah still got quality. He's still a very quick player. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can pass the ball as well as I wish him to. But he's not. He can't be a starting player for Liverpool anymore. That let's just keep it short, right? He can't be a starting player for Liverpool anymore.
Wow.
But Theo, when you look at this season, bro, like if I'm reading this right, it looks like his output is ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
he's got almost as many goal contributions as games, and I don't know, is he still not doing it for you despite that?
brother. Because if you look at his Premier League stats, he has 10 goals. Oh, sorry, he has 18 goals and 10 assists, which is very impressive. But if you see the amount of chances that he wastes, and those they prove to be crucial, like we were discussing a few weeks ago about Liverpool's, you know, our Achilles heel would be the goals that we do not score on. And Salah is definitely involved in those opportunities that we missed. And those were crucial. I sent Noah a clip from the last match against Tottenham. The goal that he missed, he was like a yard away from the goal, and he still managed to lose a goal without the keeper actually being there. The keeper was inside the goal alongside with Romero and Van der Ben. So I'm not sure how he managed to lose that goal. But I mean, I do love Salah. He's a legend for the club. He won us. He helped us win a Premier League title. He helped us win a Champions League title. He's a legend. You can't deny that. He's still very involved in chances creation, in scoring goals, getting assists. I still feel like he has declined. You can't deny that. He's not the same anymore. Feels like, for me at least, what he's lacking the most is his decision making at times. His finishing too is not the same, but he's still scoring goals, like you said, Christian. But his decision making, man, most of the times when he could have gone for a pass or tried something better, he just goes for a shot. He just rushes too much, too much. So his decision making is poor nowadays. That's why I feel like if Liverpool wants to keep fighting for a title, for a Premier League, for a Champions League, for whatever, we gotta get a guy that's younger, that's faster, that's hungrier than Salah, that plays more for the team than for the individual. Not saying that Salah is the most egotistical guy ever, but I just don't feel like he's contributing much to the team as a whole instead of contributing to himself. If you get what I'm saying.
Almost 40 goal contribution. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I would ask, um, do you see like a situation, the first thing that came to my mind was Arsenal back in 2007 when they ended up selling Thierry Henry. Obviously, the situation is not the same. We know Arsenal's financial situation back then. We know they had the stadium debts and all of that paying for. Um, but they sold Henry at an age where it felt like he really maybe could argue he was declining, but he was still very much a top player, very much able to output goals and assists and contribute a lot on the pitch. Do you see like a similar situation where it's almost like, okay, he's sort of started declining, get the rebuild started from early rather than later, and start that renewal process?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's not a fair comparison if you compare Salah to Henry quality wise, because if you look at the numbers, if you look at their impact on the teams, for sure you can say that that's a fair comparison, right? But I just say that Henry is it's such a good baller. If you compare him to Salah, quality wise, football wise, I just feel like, I don't know. I wish Salah was a quality player like Henry was. I know he's a top player. He's a top scorer. I just don't see them in the same level, you know?
No, for sure. But what I'm saying is like Henry was definitely their top man. You know what I mean? He was the man that they relied on. He's the one who is their legend, you know, and a lot of Liverpool fans would say Salah at this point is a legend, like you said.
Yep.
And I think it hurt some Arsenal fans. I mean, no, you can vouch for that emotionally. The idea that they had to let Henry go when he really wasn't yet so much declining. You know, I mean, yeah, you could say probably he was on the decline, but he still had it and he showed it at Barca. And I would imagine that Salah is only what, 31, 32? I would imagine if he goes somewhere else, he would be able to continue producing a lot on the pitch for whatever team he goes to, at least for another couple of years. And, you know, so I have no doubt he could do the same for Liverpool, but it just seems like a similar situation to me because, at least in the emotional sense of, well, if we got to let him go and we begin a rebuild. But do you have, are there any players, Theo, not that there have to be any, that you look at as potential, you know, Mohamed Salah replacements for Liverpool?
Good question. Maybe Bukayo Saka, maybe Phil Foden. Those would be great
All right,
replacements.
calm down. Calm down quickly. Let me tell you something about Salah first of all, before you even come up with a replacement. Like, I hear both of your sides arguments, essentially. Christian, you're right. He does produce a lot. And if you take that away from the team, you essentially take away those goals and those assists. But then at the same time, the fluidity of the team and the system probably weighs more than that individual output that you're talking about. We saw it even with, I remember when for Arsenal's sake, we had Alexis Sanchez at one point, and you could see that decline occurring. And we kind of got rid of him at the right time. Maybe we could have gotten rid of him a bit earlier, but overall, it was the right time. Same with Manu, with Ronaldo. He was producing a lot, but overall, that team wasn't gelling and wasn't clicking, and you could see the results of that. Theo, you made a great point about, at least this season, the amount of chances he does actually miss. And it's something that I've been talking about for a while about Salah. We've spoken about it on here, literally, that we have to praise Salah for being prolific because of that output that you're talking about. But the clinical aspect of it, you know, I love that. Clinical, right? When you have a chance, when you have a clear-cut chance, how likely is it that you're scoring? What's the rate looking like? And then one of my biggest critiques of him, which I saw a quote by Graham Souness the other day, saying that Salah is arguably probably the most selfish player he has ever seen, which I could honestly, that's not far-fetched to me because he is extremely selfish and we've seen it. You were just talking about it, Theo. It's part of the
I
reason
know you
why.
mean that in a good way.
Huh?
I know you don't mean that in a bad way.
I mean, I kind of do though. I kind of do to an extent. I mean, look, you can't argue with the output, like you said, in terms of being selfish, right? That's what you're talking about, being selfish.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I believe that obviously there's pros and cons to it. He's good, so he backs it up. He takes on the selfish shot and scores. You can't complain. But then in a moment where it's like, wow, all you have to do is just square the ball right there, and he ups the shot. You have to get mad at that. But then at the end of the game, when you look back and say, oh, Salah scored though, or he scored twice though, you
Yeah.
can't complain. But that's a chance wasted.
But what it makes me think is that, you know, I mean, hearing it come from a Liverpool fan, it's not something that I've really been in tune with this season. I didn't realize there was this idea that Salah is sort of maybe starting to go on the decline in terms of these, you know, not his output, but the way he works for the team, how he impacts the system. But that just makes me think this is such a crucial period for Liverpool. Absolutely crucial, because if that is the case with Salah, you know, they're bringing in a new manager. It is going to be Arne Slot, and I think that it's quite crucial at this moment because if it was a situation where you have your most dangerous player for the last however many years about to, decline and perhaps leave the club, you almost want for the manager that has endeared himself to the fans so much, who everyone loves and knows, they trust in his philosophy. You'd want for him to be behind that sort of somewhat of a rebuild, right? But there's going to be a rebuild in that sense too. There's a new manager coming in, and I feel like everybody is sort of a bit afraid for their own side about what happens when a new manager comes in, because as we all know, especially in the Premier League, it's a dog eat dog world. A manager comes in and starts, doesn't have a good start. Immediately, the talk is going to be, is he going to get the sack? And that's why I think this next year or two for Liverpool is going to define a lot for them.
100%, 100%. And I do feel like Arne Slot is going to be, possibly Arne Slot is going to be Mohamed Salah's grace, right? Because let's say that Mohamed Salah decides to stay, Liverpool as a whole decides that Mo Salah is going to stay. And a rebuild right now, talking about the new manager that's coming in, might prove to be crucial if Salah is actually to stay in Liverpool. Because if you see the work that Arne Slot put into Feyenoord, if you see a guy, for example, like Timber, who plays for Feyenoord, and he was doing poor a few seasons ago when the manager was in his first few seasons over there. And now he managed to make this Timber guy, a crucial part of the system, and actually awarded him a spot at the national team. So, it's not guaranteed that he's going to make every guy outperform themselves, right? So it's not guaranteed that he's going to make Salah shine again, go back to his prime. But if I see that as a grace for Salah, if he's actually to stay in Liverpool. So I'm trying to be as objective as I can with this topic. I know that there's a lot of feelings involved. I do love Salah when I look at his career, everything that he's done for Liverpool, everything in the pitch and outside the pitch too. The guy is amazing. I love Mohamed Salah. But I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to win titles. I'm trying to fight for the first spot in every single competition that we're in. And I don't feel like Salah, like Noah said, back to Noah's point, is that guy that plays for the team. If you see his individual output, you're going to see goals, you're going to see assists, of course, because Liverpool as a whole, we create chances. And he's going to be there to score on those chances. Sometimes, not every time. Back to the crucial point, the clinical point. He's not going to score every chance that he has. And I get it. Not every top scorer is going to score in every single opportunity. Whenever I play pro clubs, I don't score on every single shot I have, right? No.
That's because you're using a cam build.
But he's not as crucial, not as clinical. And the clear-cut chances that he misses on those big matches, like for example against Man United, like against West Ham, like when you miss those clear-cut chances, that's what keeps me thinking about it. What if it was someone else? What if it was a younger kid, someone that plays more for the team, that has a different mindset, that plays a pass instead of going for a shot, instead of going for a dribble? Because back to Noah's point, I do see that selfishness in Salah, but I don't feel like he's the most selfish player of all. But I do see that selfishness too. So that's why I feel like a change of airs, bringing in a new guy, maybe Salah going to a new club, would be a good thing. It would be a good decision. And things, they come to an end, right? Players, they come and go, they make their impact, they make their history, and then they go somewhere else. And that's a part of history. That's a natural thing. So I feel like it's time for Salah to go, even though if he stayed, I wouldn't be mad. But I just don't want him to be a starting player for Liverpool. Whenever he comes in the second half, great. He's going to be looking sharp. He's super quick. But I feel like we should be looking for somebody else. I'm not sure who, though, but we should be looking for somebody else. I'm not sure if the Liverpool fans are going to agree with me 100% on this, but that's my take.
The new era will come in with Trent as the main man for Liverpool. And whoever, the new wide forward is, whoever they bring in, still going to be Trent as the main man, future captain. You heard it here.
You're saying that you play Trent as a winger now?
Yeah, you can play Trent anywhere, but he will be the main man.
Trent, bro. This one before he gets skinned down by the next winger, bro. Next match you go into the winger, just rip him to shreds again, but Yeah, let us know who you think should be Salah's replacement in the comments.
That's all we have time for today. Guys, thanks for tuning in as always. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Remember to subscribe, to leave comments, and share with your friends. Follow us on social media at FOTBpod. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, and most importantly, don't forget to turn on those notifications. Join us again next time as we discuss the highly anticipated upcoming Premier League action. Thanks again as always. See you then.